Hi, I'm C.S. Woolley. I'm an author based in Nottingham and I'm also a sufferer of dyslexia. But despite that, I really believe that all children should have a chance to fall in love with literature. Because of that, I have recently finished writing the first 4 books in a series which has been specifically designed to encourage kids with dyslexia to get into reading and to offer them a chance to enjoy books as I did when I was a child. I had the encouragement of my parents, my mother taking me to the library every weekend to get new books out. And even though I struggled to read them, and I found it really hard going at times, I still loved getting into stories and I loved the opportunity to explore new worlds. And that's something that stayed with me for my whole life. So what I'm going to do is I would like to take this chance to kind of talk to you a little bit about why I wrote these books and also to read a little bit out of the first book in the series. So if you have got your kids at home or you're watching this with your kids, you know, make sure that they stay with you so that they can hear this first chapter and hear me trying to read out loud. Even though I'm an adult now, I still struggle with it. But when I was a child, as I say, I really found it difficult to read. I found it that words would be dancing on the pages, that the letters would get jumbled up, that sentences would merge together, that I'd read the same sentences over and over. And it wasn't until I was 17 that I discovered that this wasn't the way it was supposed to be, that I actually had dyslexia. But despite that, I have 11 GCSEs, I have 3 A levels, I have key skills in computing, and I have a degree in English from the University of Hull. Having dyslexia has never defined me because people have encouraged me. They have never put me down and told me that I was stupid because of it, but I know that's not the case for everyone. And really, I'm here to say today that when you have dyslexia, it can be one of the most soul-destroying things. I mean, people still make fun of me for spelling. I cannot tell you the difference between who and how when they're written down. To me, they are interchangeable words, even though they mean something completely different. And my poor long-suffering proofreader will quite happily tell you of how many mistakes that I make. But it's okay to make those mistakes. It's nothing that we can help when we have dyslexia. But there's something fun about reading, and there's something fun about exploring new worlds that you can only get from books. And when you find it difficult to read, and when you find it hard to get into that literature, it's virtually impossible to enjoy. So this is Fate. It's the first book in the series, and just to show you a bit on the inside, that the font I've chosen is called Calibri to format it in, because for me Calibri was a huge game changer when I discovered the font existed, because finally there was a font that I could read and it didn't hurt my eyes. It didn't make me have nearly as many problems as I had before reading words. As you can see, the words are slightly bigger than you might expect in a standard book, and they're also spaced further apart, which is purely so that the words don't move about so much and they don't blur together so much. So I've really done as much as I can to try and make this book easier for kids with dyslexia to read. On top of that, the words that are used, there are some big words in there, there are complicated themes, because, as I said before, having dyslexia doesn't make you stupid. Yes, you might struggle to read the big words, but there are lots of people I know who don't have dyslexia who struggle with the big words, so that's nothing to be ashamed of. So I really hope that you enjoy what I'm about to read to you, and forgive me for all the gaffes that I will make. My name is Erland. I live in a town called Ribe. It's not a very big place, but it is full of magic. There are lots of stories that the old women tell about trolls and elves, wights and goblins. When I was a small boy, I sat and listened to the stories. When I got older, I told the women I was too big to believe in magic. Then I met Alla Ingeborgsdotter. Chapter 1. Erland! Erland, wake up! Christian Andersen jumped up and down on Erland's bed. Erland Calebson opened his eyes and glared at the young man of 16 who was shaking him. What do you want? Erland pushed his best friend off the bed and sat up. Christian collapsed in a heap on the floor and grinned. I have something to tell you. Erland yawned and looked out the window. Noticing that it was still dark outside, he asked, What time is it? I don't know. Maybe 4 o'clock? Christian shrugged. 4 o'clock? Why are you waking me up at 4 o'clock? Erland demanded. Keep your voice down. You'll wake up your mother. She won't be pleased I climbed through the window again, Christian hissed. You better not have left footprints on the wall. She'll hit you with the broom until you're sore, Erland said, sticking his head out of the window. It was too dark to see if Christian had tracked mud up the side of the house. I was careful. I didn't even step on the window this time. Look, your mother will get over it. Frigg is a good sport, really. Anyway, I have something important to tell you, Christian said, his chin-length blonde hair bouncing up and down as he spoke. Well, what is it? Erland asked grumpily. There's a new girl in town, Christian grinned. A new girl? You woke me up at 4 o'clock because there's a new girl in town. Erland stared at his best friend. The two boys were both 16. Erland was a tall boy, with dirty blonde hair and dark blue eyes, something he had inherited from his mother. He was strong for his age, but when he stood next to Christian, he looked decidedly small. Christian was shorter than Erland, but a lot more muscular. He had a slight blonde stubble spread across his chin and blonde hair to his chin that was so light it was blinding if the sun caught it at the right angle. Though they were the same age, Erland was a lot less interested in girls than Christian was. She's not just any new girl. She comes from Norway, Christian replied. So? Erland asked. So? Don't you listen to the stories that Alicia and Sybil tell, Christian said with exasperation. No, I'm too old to be listening to fairy tales. I need to learn about running the farm and how to protect the town and the farm from thieves and wolves, Erland said, lying down again. What a load of nonsense. You are too young for that. You should listen to Alicia and Sybil. Their stories are all about adventure. Christian's eyes danced as he sat on the edge of Erland's bed. A girl coming to Ribe from Norway is important in the stories? Erland asked. Well, no, not Norway. It's the legend of the arm rings of Ingvar, Christian said, scratching his head. The legend of the arm rings of Ingvar. Another tale of adventure and daring that causes your sisters to swoon. Erland rolled over and pulled the blankets over his head. Beatrix and Camilla aren't interested in adventure stories. They just want to sit in the meadow and make daisy chains, Christian tutted. I think you missed my point, Erland muttered. Look, Erland, the legend of the arm rings of Ingvar. It says when a girl from a distant land arrives that danger is near at hand. That heroes must rise from the town and set out to find the rings, said Christian. And these rings are not normal arm rings, like the one that my father has, Erland asked, his voice muffled by the blankets. Yes. And each arm ring will give the wearer untold power and unmatchable skill. Yes. And there are only a few days when you can find these arm rings of Ingvar before disaster befalls everyone and the darkness takes hold. You do know the legend, Christian said with a smile. No, I just know the stories that Alicia and Sybil tell, Erland said crossly. The sound of footsteps echoed in the corridor outside Erland's room. Uh-oh, Christian said. I told you to keep your voice down, Erland said from under the blanket. The door to Erland's room opened. Erland's mother Frigg stood in the doorway. Christian Andersen, you should be at home in your bed, Frigg said in a stern voice. Yes, Frigg, Christian sighed. He started to climb over Erland to get to the window. What do you think you were doing? Frigg shouted. Going out the same way I came in, Christian said, and instantly regretted it. Frigg grabbed her broom and started chasing Christian. I told you not to climb the side of our house, Frigg yelled. and Christian ran to the front door. He undid all the bolts and ran outside. Erlen heard his mother slam the door, bolt it, and walk back to his room. "What did he want?" Frigg asked. "Something about the legend of the arm rings of Ingvar," Erlen yawned. "I see," Frigg said with a slight frown on her face. "He believes all those tales that Alicia and Sybil tell to the children," Erlen said as he drifted back to sleep. "You are still a child," Frigg whispered as she closed the door to Erlen's room. I really hope you enjoyed listening to that first extract. As I say, I do have dyslexia, so I apologise for any of the slips that I made during that reading. If you want to find out more about these books, you can go to the website of the publisher that published them, which is www.mightierthanthesworduk.com. And if you're interested in buying them, you can go to our Etsy store that is listed in the text below. The ebooks on the Etsy store there are cheaper than you'll find them on Amazon, on Kobo, or from Barnes & Noble, anywhere like that. They are cheapest direct from us. And you can also get the paperback books as well as some gift sets on the site. The gift sets are exclusive to the Etsy store, as are the posters as well. And with all the paperbacks that are ordered direct from the Etsy store, I'm more than happy to sign them and dedicate them with a personalised message to whoever you like, and they do come with free UK delivery. Also, please keep an eye out on the website if you're interested in more to do with help with dyslexia, because in the next couple of weeks the Mightier and the Sword site is going to be launching a bonus section which is going to have a load of free worksheets, of downloads, of advice, of stories of people who've had dyslexia and how they've overcome different challenges and how they've used their dyslexia to their advantage, and they've really come out on top. So once again, thank you for watching, and I hope you really enjoyed it.